ready.
Will all please rise? Say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Terry, do you have the roll of who's here? Guess we're missing Lorenzen and Mike Helsley
Yes.
at this point. Hopefully they'll join us. First thing on the agenda is public comment. Hearing none, we'll move on. If we do have somebody come, maybe we can reopen that to give everybody an opportunity to say what they need to say. Okay, the first thing on the agenda would be to consider the plan or the approval of the plans, the 5 plans for health insurance, part and parcel. So, gentlemen, how do you want to approach it? I think the committee has a recommendation. Do we want to start that way, or?
That'd be fine. Let them know from the union.
Okay, let's see who this is. Kirk, thank you for being here. Please note, Mr. Lorenzen is here. We're just getting started, Derek. I'll try to summarize what the committee of Andy, Carl, and I talked about at this point.
With the union?
With the union, yes, which would obviously, and then spread to everybody, okay? Number one is that at this point, we're recommending eliminating 1 and 5 options. So that we'd have 2, which is an HSA, 3, which is PPO, and 4, which is an HSA, okay? Number 2, part of that would be that we would, and this extends, everything from this point on extends, all of it extends to all employees. We offer each employee $100 on Plan 2 and 4, which are HSAs, per month, and leave what we pay as far as our contributions towards their policy, okay, which would be $456. So they would be we would be depositing into their health savings plan $1,200 per year. Once it's in there, it's theirs, period.
You have to go over that one more time. To all employees, what was that again?
We'd be contributing $100 on plans 2 and 4, which are HSAs.
I think your
Messed up.
sheet,
He's on the wrong sheet.
your sheet is,
I'm looking at the summary.
is, the 2 and 4 are something different.
Yeah, you can't.
The 2 HSA plans,
Okay, that's good enough.
Yes.
On plans, on the 2 HSA.
yes.
Right.
That's what was confusing. Go ahead, Jeff. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Okay.
if you want to.
Okay, do you want me to continue on that?
Yeah, no, that was what was messing me up right off the bat.
Okay.
I want to make sure we're on apples and apples.
Then on Plan 3, Plan 3, which is a PPO,
Which is the 1,500 PPO.
Correct.
Yes.
we would increase our contribution from $456 to $506 to all employees, except those on the union that take that plan. Their contribution would be $60 this coming year, okay? We can't do anything about the contract, okay? Then, on the last part of the deal that we talked about, and I guess you could say we're recommending, is to increase the buyout from $750 to $1,250. Okay?
What's that?
The buyout. In other words, if an employee elects not to take the program, we currently have, and I'm not sure how Mark's doing it, but we either have 9 or 10 on the buyout. Okay? All right, so I'm not sure but that's, I figured you in. If you're not, that's fine. It doesn't matter. But for the purposes of the conversation, that's where we're at. So I guess the first part of the issue that we're dealing with this morning part of the motion, or part of the agenda, is what we're gonna do with the 5 plans. Are we gonna accept all of them, 3 of them, where we're gonna go? Then once we've made that decision, then we decide what we're gonna offer the employees as far as any increased support for their health care. Now, in addition, over the last several days, Terry and I have talked, Donna and I have talked, and I've talked with our CPA, and it is gonna have to be run through payroll. Okay, it is not considered I'm talking about the $100 per month. It is not considered as income, but it must be reported on a W-2, and I can't remember the box number. But it shows that it has been contributed so that the federal government knows that it's gone to the employees so that they can accurately account for it over the years. Now, there are no deductions that are required from it because it's not considered as income, okay? So Don is calling Harris to find out how to plug that in. Obviously, they're handling it for other people. And, you know, the folks that we heard from Rantoul are doing it. So we just need to get our software updated so it can handle it. I don't mean to make it sound simple, but it needs to be dealt with, okay? Number 2, Joe's gonna be here in to go over all this stuff with Terry, Pam, Augie, and who'd I forget? Don. So we make sure we're all on the same page and there's no problems moving forward. What if we decide to do that option, okay? So, I've talked enough.
Okay, so on your HSA, where your plan maybe to dump into an HSA plan, that's gonna be run through payroll, but it's not gonna be taxed prior, or it is?
It is not subject, it is not considered income, period.
And they don't have to go through our cafeteria 125 plan for that to happen, we don't think. Joe thinks he can just run her straight through there. Because I thought, you know, the other day when we were at the meeting, we had that issue come up and that they were running it.
I don't know the ultimate answer to that. That's something that Harris will have to tell us how the computer and how they're doing it elsewhere.
But Joe's
Yeah.
comfortable saying like we can dump that in HSA and it'll be a pre-tax.
Right. No
Hey,
deductions are
no
required, it's not considered, in fact, it says,
You would know it, that's why I don't care, as long as, because we had to run those things through the section 125 for it to be pre-tax.
well, if we had to, okay,
Or
well,
the-
it's automatically, it says in this that it's non-taxable, okay? Now, what it gets run through and how, I don't know, okay? Do you know, Terry?
So how's that money to be used by the employer?
It has to be used for approved, federally approved, and you probably can tell better, health,
So you're
health
using like
issues.
the deductible.
Eyeglasses,
There's a list of stuff
Yeah,
that it
there's
can
a-
be used
there's a-
for.
That-
Probably in that publication
Yeah.
somewhere.
There does come a point, many years down the road, once you reach a certain age, that money opens up to other things.
Yeah, I think.
And it's
that's
always the
60%.
employee's
Federal
money.
government thing.
I think.
Even, not just health, but later on.
Right.
You can actually add some, like 65, and later.
That sounds right.
65.
There's a provision in here for once you reach a certain age. And of course, upon death, it loosens up too.
They can't use it until a certain age.
Well, I mean, it can be used for health
Okay.
issues.
All, at any time.
Yeah,
Alright.
immediately.
Okay.
And the way my plan works is that the year it goes into the plan, you have to have a leftover amount in the account before it gets invested. Basically, that during the year it's used for the deductible, and then if you have any money left over, then it goes into like the investment plan build up. And
So then what you're saying, after a year, they can actually put that into an investment and use that.
no, still towards the
It's
goal
still
of paying for the
HSA, but
deductible.
it's
Yeah.
not just sitting in the account. You
Right.
can actually,
It's not in cash. It's in some other.
that's, okay.
That's how I understand it.
We had no public comment earlier because nobody was here. I can open that back up. This is Mark Rosillo. He represents the dispatchers and jailers union. Mark, would you wanna say anything? I didn't wanna not.
Well, no, I mean, I wanted, I just really came to see what direction you guys were ultimately heading in. I mean, I can tell you that some of my members, I mean, we're talking about a group of 7 people.
Right.
And I know that a couple of them take medicine for diabetes. And I think we've got 1 or 2 that take medicine for high blood pressure. I know that the cost of, and this is what was discussed when we had our last meeting, that the medicine for diabetes, the cost of that medicine had increased substantially in the last year. And their concerns were that the HSA wouldn't get them over the hump. And so that was their initial concern, and that's why they were put off by the change. And I know that they had talked about maybe front loading the amount, and I explained to them as best I could that the reason that you guys were going in this direction was because there was a potential cost savings, and I thought that front loading the amount across the board would eradicate that savings. So I can tell you that there's certainly people among my group that would hope that since we have a contract in place, that maybe we'd come back and revisit it in a year, and that's what I'd heard.
I guess it'd be appropriate to say that at this point, the sheriff's union, which are represented differently, you do not represent them, are in agreement with the HSA. And we have a note from Mr. Jarvis saying that we have 100% agreement, and we would institute and, have no problems with you eliminating option 1, which is the current policy that they're in. However, with the jailers and dispatchers, we've been unable to reach a total agreement or any kind of agreement on eliminating plan 1 or option 1, okay?
But did you indicate that some of them are maybe interested in the HSA?
Yes, I think there's clearly partial interest.
Yeah.
I think I can honestly say that.
Okay.
So with these individuals, we're not covering the cost like we do with the deputies, right? We are. Everybody the same amount, okay.
Yep, everything's the same now.
What do you mean?
Which-
Well, I mean, they pay $60 a month,
That's
and they
what I'm
have,
talking
they're
about.
all,
Right.
everybody is in option 1 that's in the union at this point.
So jailers, dispatchers, and deputies.
Are all in that.
So are we talking about, they're still paying $60 a month, and we're still gonna put another $100 into anybody who goes into an HSA?
Yes, correct. Currently,
But you look at the
Yeah.
bottom line from option 1 to option 2, it's still, it's a savings to the county. Because
They're making them.
our costs, if they go with the option 2, our costs are $145 less.
$70 less a month.
Right.
currently for the 35 or 36 employees that come out of Fund 100, the costs are about $227,106 for healthcare. Implementing everything that we just talked about and putting everybody from Plan 1 that's a dispatcher or jailer into Plan 3, which is a PPO. They're going from one PPO to another, so there could be more savings. And implementing the buyout would cost the county an additional $11,380.
And this is only on
The-
Fund 100.
Fund 100.
So when I'm looking at a total master list of employee counties.
There's
That's one thing.
55, 3 of which are paying 100% of their policy, so there's only 52. So there's another 15 or 16 employees that are represented in the highway department and in the health department.
So we're not paying obviously anything out of the health department or the highway department?
Right, well, we pay the bills, and then they reimburse us on a
Correct.
monthly basis.
But what we would be doing is if we instituted this,
We would be increasing their costs.
we'd be increasing their cost.
Well, there probably would still be a cost saving, so if there are members of the dispatchers and jailers that have concerns, like we talked about, older individuals that have medication costs, and their concern is losing the PPO and the advantages there, it would probably be in our best interest, I don't have the numbers in front of me, we could just say you can have PPO option 4 and pay $6 a month or $0 a month, and that might, I mean, we still would have cost savings over the Cadillac plan and where we're at, right? So, you know. A little angel on my shoulder.
But you need to be aware that the union, your union may or may not file something against us if we go to option, or eliminate option 1. Is that a fair statement?
Well, and again, I haven't crunched all the numbers of the cost of the prescriptions for those specific people that would be impacted. The question becomes whether or not the costs are substantially dissimilar from going from one plant to the other, and that's where the rub is.
How many employees did you say we had coming out of Fund 100 total?
I think it's 36. Hang on, I got it here somewhere. Do you have it, Carl? Here it is. 36. And there's 55 totally out of the plant. You can't look at what we were supplied by the company, because that is
I
not
looked
up
at
to date.
Pam's listing.
Okay, all right.
That's what,
I've got my department right here,
okay, and I guess.
and that lists
I'm
the
not trying to be
option.
tricky or hide anything, Randy, but I just wanna get clarity, because you probably know this off the top of your head.
Well, maybe not,
Well, what I'm saying is that we pay everything out, these are all county clerks, right?
right?
And treasurer,
Right?
so any of you don't know them, that's
No,
out
no,
of
no, no.
assessments,
Yeah.
okay, probation, do we pay this out of
Yeah.
there? State's attorney?
Yep,
Money,
There's
Yep.
nobody
and
in
then we pay
state's
all the
attorney.
sheriffs,
right?
right? Okay, no, board of review, we didn't think they were in that, or
They aren't.
they're not a part of what
No.
we do pay a part of this, so McGrath, right?
Right.
Okay. Okay, you know, county board, yes, shelter, airport,
Here it
building,
lists.
I just want, so I can have it in my mind, you know, technology, thank you, I appreciate your patience with me. Highway department, all this, right? We don't,
We do not pay that.
right? Right? And errands, obviously, we don't, or we do.
Nope.
Okay, Board of Health, we don't pay any
Any
of
of
theirs,
those,
right?
that's correct.
Okay, Nan, we don't pay that, she's
No.
reimbursed from them too. Okay, thanks, I appreciate
Yep.
that.
And there are 3 retired or no longer working employees that take it, but pay us 100% reimbursement. There's 3 of those, okay?
I keep coming up with like 49 as the county clerk.
by plan. Okay, and that
Well,
equals,
this includes people who aren't on it. That do not take it, mine does.
Well,
And yours doesn't.
I think it does.
That's maybe where we're having differences, because I think I have a difference of 17 of those 49 don't take any insurance right now. Of the
Yeah,
49 that I'm counting as direct, that we pay directly,
I-
17 of those, so that would take it down to 32,
We have 36, is all I can
36,
tell
and
you.
then, well, then you're three right here, and then we're pretty close on that
Yeah.
one. That's what it is, though, I think.
All right.
We have 49 that we directly pay, 17 of those, though, don't take any insurance right now.
There's 19.
What's that?
There's 19 opt out.
Yeah,
Of the ones that we directly pay, Gary?
What do you mean? 2 of those are union. So 17 others besides 2 union, we have 19 opt out.
I just want to make sure we're all talking about the same numbers. I'm not trying to be argumentative whatsoever. I just want to make sure we're all talking the same numbers, which is when you start throwing $100 at each one of those per month, we're talking some money.
Which means
But basically, that's the increase in the health insurance. Yeah,
In my mind though, Carl, I think my responsibility
right,
is to make sure
everybody.
I know where that's going,
right.
you know.
So actually deputies will make, you're still paying insurance, they'll make $40.
did you generate this or did Pam?
I did.
Okay,
Mhm.
this is off the insurance policy.
But I agree with you, but when they change plans, our costs are less.
Okay.
100,
I need something per person, is what you're saying?
yeah, I don't know, $50 less per month, the county's costs. I mean, what we pay for
Yeah,
the
understand.
insurance.
So there's, on premium one, going back to the jailers, et cetera, right now, they would have had to, that policy, am I looking at that correct? That was 828,
Mm-hmm.
and the 1,500 PPO is 755, roughly.
Yes.
So we're talking, $73 there a month in savings right there, right? Am I looking at that? I mean, between that top plan and the other plan?
Yes.
Sure, just for me on the.
Well, if they go from option 1 to option 3, yeah, if they don't have option 1 and they still want a PPO, they could
Right.
go to option 3 and that'd be a $73
Right.
savings.
That's, and I would guess that's what a lot of those people in there would do.
Or
If they like-
144.
Most of them will not.
Most of them will not.
Only the ones that have high.
There's only 2 or 3, I
Right.
think. And the rest, I think, when you look at the total union, majority of them, like 75% of them are gonna go with option 2.
Okay, they really don't have to do that though, do they? We don't have an outside bargain even with the deputies, like an understanding or agreement, do we, or not?
Yeah.
Sorry, it's a small,
So with
that they're willing
PPO,
to
those
execute
set
that,
prices,
to
those
put
three
it-
set
put 'em
prices,
in there.
how does that break out? Is it just different kinds of medication or?
But just different deductibles, you got
Is that
500, you got
Right.
1,000.
I'm sorry, the
Yeah.
medical.
No. They're committed, and I think we're gonna
It's
catch
just a generic.
probably 4,
Not known for the
maybe
next
4 or
That's across the
5
board
from
for the
the
whole year, they always do that.
dispatchers in the
So
it
jail,
is.
in
probably.
this category every time they get filled.
Yeah, it's that's
So
Probably.
it
It's
is-
probably
it's-
close.
I mean, you can't,
Once they hit that.
Let's-
That's 90%.
yes,
I mean,
and I didn't figure that in at this point.
That's what I thought. Well, and so, I don't know what those costs run, but, if you're paying that set amount every month, well, that still would match up, but there's other costs involved, but so on the HSA, at $1,400 as your deductible, once you hit that, you're square, and there's probably other.
It's $2,600 deductible.
Minus 1,200.
that
Oh,
we're
but you're
putting
getting
in,
it.
yeah.
Okay.
So, that might be a wash. I'd have to see a specific individual, or
Because-
worst case. what
Because
they're
all
paying.
drugs, anything after that
Covered.
are covered,
Right.
period, 100%.
So obviously, if it's on the generic and you're paying $8 a month, it's not a concern anyway, right? It's the expensive drugs. So expensive drugs would fall into the 75, and so, what is that?
Well, some of them were saying they were paying $1,700 a month in medical prescriptions.
And in
Prescription
fairness,
Mhm.
Mark and Mr. Jarvis, I think, tried to, I don't wanna say make our case, but I mean, they tried to explain to them. And
Yep.
short of individually sitting down with what you're saying, Mark, is to sit down with employee A, which is you represent, and actually putting the pen to the paper, which you need to do, I guess, yeah, so.
Yeah, I guess I am.
No, I'm just,
Terry, I'm confused. So you said they were paying $1,500 a month in medication, or that's what the listed price is?
Mhm.
Okay.
Is that other?
I mean, that's what some of them have been calling me, that's how I know that.
Because.
So it would basically be that first
And
month.
they
would
don't
be
have
deductible.
that money,
and then they have the
Up front.
prescription.
yeah,
Okay.
they have to pay that. That's what their concern to me was.
They have a donut hole like.
And at one time, they talked about not
Not
up
on
front
the
and the whole
HSAs.
1,200 at once.
There's no donut hole
So
that we have.
how do you guys decide to do that?
So Jeff, you think out of those 19 people who have taken the
So
number
that's,
one,
that was their
how many do you
concern.
think are gonna be taking?
Now,
Not taking.
I don't know how yours works, but on ours,
Well, if we
you set a
eliminate it,
deduction
I mean,
from
if
your
we don't
paycheck,
eliminate it, I think we're.
that money is immediately available to
same
HSA
as
regardless
Yes.
of whether
Are you-
somebody
are you
pays.
talking
You don't have
everybody
to
or
front
you
that
talking-
money.
I'm just saying.
Assume.
That's
obviously,
already
we
there.
have 19, 20 people.
So if they were
Let's say
putting in an
roughly.
additional
And
20 or 30, 50 bucks
Yeah,
a
we have
month,
19
which
people,
makes sense for 'em.
which
And
14
employees,
are,
and it would be covered
are,
there too, so.
It was just-
Or deputies.
no,
There was a couple of them that talked to me
14
that
are
said
our
they're
employees in
expensive drugs.
Fund 100.
It's strange when we're talking
Okay,
about
so,
essentially people tend to breathe.
Well,
There's
5, 10. Can you get Louis' brother probably out of one, even if we eliminate it? Okay, so 11. And I don't know some of the others. There's 2.
3 of them are retired, 4 of them are health and highway department people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12 of them are union people.
There's
So
two
I think we can get 10
Fund
of those.
100 people, actual Fund 100 in there.
there might be 3 or 4 at the most. That would still be a one option.
And they probably wouldn't be Fund 100 employees except for 2.
There's only two
I'm
Fund
just-
100.
Two.
Double check, because right now we're taking what, the $60 off of their current
Well, then-
$715 a
Off
month.
of 12 of them.
Right, I mean, whatever, but we're taking, so that's like the
It's 50
655.
right now.
I'm sorry?
It's 50 this year,
Okay,
goes
so,
to
okay,
60.
665, right, you know, that same now, let's throw it down next year on the 755, even if they all took that, even though you're saying most of them will not, you know, we're off, we'd be losing 40 additional dollars there for everybody who would go from the 500 PPO down to the 1,500 PPO. But you're saying there's a bunch of those that aren't gonna make that jump, you don't think, anyway. See, we'd automatically be losing $30 or $40, whichever way you wanna look at it, per person, because last year we took $50 off of 715, right? Wasn't that there, how much they paid last year? And if they go down to that next PPO this year, they're gonna be paying $755, right?
Mhm.
And so we're making that up, because one is that we're not gonna have as many people, you don't think, jump from 500 PPO to 1,550 PPO, because
Right.
that agreement right there is
Right, they've
one
already said
thing,
they want.
those number of people are
Plus,
gone.
he's telling us
off.
that we have interest in the
Some
other.
others.
Well, like I said, the numbers I ran, if we offered to pay for the people that wanted to stay in the PPO, and we paid the whole thing with no $60, we would still be ahead on what we're currently paying on the Cadillac, as we call it. So it's $768.64 with the $60 they pay. If we went to the PPO where we cover the entire cost, it's $755. So I mean, it's not a mass savings, but it's $13 cheaper to move people over and cover their entire premium. You with me on that?
In other words, you're saying for the jailers and the dispatchers
If
to
we, to
eliminate
peel
the
off that
60.
option one, offer in addition to the standard HSA for the people that are,
The
that we're
one
trying,
with HSA.
Right.
No, the one with the PPO.
that are in that are already paying that minimal amount, just say, look, if you're willing to move to option 3, we'll cover your entire cost, we'll still be ahead on our costs.
Except that then we have to look at the other employees that
Yeah.
aren't union
Yeah,
employees
there's a
and
lot of
say,
others. Yeah.
why is that fair that I'm paying $299?
Why is it fair that they're only paying $60 of their premium?
Plus getting a hundred.
There-
I understand, we're just making it worse. I'm,
Yeah, I agree totally.
I
That it's
understand.
not fair that they're getting such a good deal,
Well,
but
I would say
that's what we're, that's the contract.
I'm with you.
But there's a lot of other people on option 3 that if, to me, if you give it to 2 union people, say we're gonna pay 100%, then you gotta do that for everybody else, and then,
how do you peel away whatever they're paying from part of them and not from the other part? In other words, those who take plan 2 or option 2 or 4, we're still gonna want the $60 from. Well, and
No,
then you got 2 different groups. I mean, it just,
and we could just leave option 1
alone,
alone, and then when we negotiate this next summer, fall, then, negotiate, maybe, if we still wanna eliminate 1, then we negotiate that out some way, somehow.
Is there any reason, in the past why contractually, I don't know if you've had a chance to really look at that pretty hard and stuff. But, I mean, we just put a bid out for 5 proposals, 5 different lines. I wouldn't know why we'd have to have all 5 of them anyway, unless contractually it says you have to have 5 of those, or you have to have, or, I would think if
we
it's-
could
it's a-
go, we could go down to 1.
Right.
Right.
We
As
have
long
no
as-
contractual obligation to have, or we could go to 15. I think it drives him nuts, but
They drive me, because my neighbor does.
We're gonna have to offer that very
some of us
basic
are already nuts.
HSA plan, and it has to be along with the federal government's plan of what our minimum full-time salary is.
Well, and we discussed, what would be easiest is just to keep them all, offer everybody a few bucks and go on and negotiate this out next year and just not even deal with it right now. And I also told Mark, I said, it'd be nice to eliminate 1 to get it over with,
Yeah.
so we don't have to argue about it this coming year.
Right.
And he agreed with that too, but, we're all slaves to different things, so.
That's the truth.
Well, I'm probably expected, there's probably another price bump, the next year. I don't know.
We're not done with this.
Yeah,
Right.
it's gonna keep going, so, I mean,
Like,
the difference between our ideal scenario and the current scenario where everything remains the same, what's the cost delta on that? Do we know?
Now, if we're only talking a couple of people, for Fund 100, it's probably negligible.
Okay.
I mean, nothing that we can't deal with.
Well,
So,
if
There'll
we
be a
look,
couple people that might stay on.
Right, I think,
Well,
I think,
maybe 3.
yeah, I would look for 3, so you'd be looking at, it'd still be negligible.
so you think the deputies would maintain, even if the Cadillac still existed in the same?
Oh, yeah, in fact, I'm sorry, here.
Well, I know I just said that, but that was,
This is close to a commitment, but, okay. And I think that we've heard from the other union that, through Mark, that I think that's gonna be attractive. We'll probably gain 4 or 5 that'll switch from 1 to 2, or 4, depending on what they're looking at. I would guess that they'd wanna go with 2, because you have a better drug coverage, and it pops in quicker.
But according to this, they want it paid out, the $100 on at least
A quarterly.
quarterly basis, not a
Right.
you know.
So
monthly
you're gonna
basis.
put $300.
300, right.
up.
Well,
Yeah,
and-
for everybody.
Yeah.
And Don has made it clear, and I think Terry can concur, we don't wanna be putting out a check every month for everybody. We would rather, you know, he's gonna go in and find a place where they can open their HSAs if they don't already have them. And this is the depository for it. We're not gonna send them out to 14 different banks. It's gonna be one of the banks, and that's where you can open your account, and the bank will know, and that, there'll be one check that's cut out to that bank, and they'll split it amongst the different accounts, so.
Okay, so basically, to all employees that get an HSA plan, we would dump $100 directly into that plan.
That's correct, per month.
Let's see, Plan 3 on your sheets, I don't have one of those sheets, do you have another one of those sheets? I mean, that I can just have, if not,
Get
don't
you
worry.
one.
Okay, that's right.
Why don't you take
No, no,
this,
you got your.
and I'll
sheet.
get one, because
I'll
I've
take a
got,
picture first later off my camera and I'll have it. All right, that'll work. That'll be fine. So we're gonna give those people an extra $50 a month
right.
on that.
We're not giving it to them, we're actually paying, instead of paying $456 premium, we're gonna be paying $506 towards their
Good
premium.
choice, right.
Okay.
We're gonna pay their premium, pay $50 additional premium.
Right. The other two premiums will stay the same. Or 3 premiums, or however many we approve. In other words, it'll be 456, 456, 506, 456, 456. Okay? Right.
I was looking if we went to 3 premiums.
Well, I'm just,
If you
yes,
went all in, right? So
Yeah.
then on the HSAs, they're still paying the 456.
correct,
Okay, just that we're gonna put $100 directly into their account.
Right.
Okay.
yes.
Okay, and then, so I'm a little concerned about how we're gonna say that, how we're gonna have to word that or not on that buyout. Did anybody talk with Joe about that, if that's gonna be okay? To put an
Actually-
additional 500 in there, or is he really concerned about that? No, HSA, or, hope ACA doesn't, but we're gonna put an additional 42 something per month. We're gonna pay those people an additional $42 and something change per month to make it equal $500 for the year, or $500 at the end of the year more, how do we do that? Is that right?
Yes.
And all this out of Fund 100, you think there'll be a change of what?
11,000 some.
$11,380 roughly, depending on how many of the dispatchers and jailers opt for. I figured it at 3, option 3. Some of them may go with option 2, and that would give us slightly more savings. But then that'd probably be offset if you want to maintain Plan 1. That would help to offset that increase. I hate to ask this, but what's your pleasure at this point?
So there's still, so it sounds like maybe the best way to go forward is leave Plan 1 in place. But we still were talking about taking something off the table for negotiations. It sounds like non-contested is 5, right?
Yeah.
So.
Nobody takes Plan 5 anyway.
So we
It's a
don't-
piece of garbage, no one wants it. What's it doing in there?
Get rid of there.
So, I mean, I guess,
Do you have a motion?
I move that we drop Plan 5 from our insurance offerings.
And that's all it needs to be at this
time.
point. Because there's, needs to be another motion to handle the other thing, okay?
I was gonna say,
What was the other thing?
well, we need
Whether or
to
not we're gonna
adopt
drop.
Plan, what they're gonna originally call 1, 2, 3, and 4. The way we're set, right? If, I mean, if you go with.
Right, and I
the
think-
plan.
Then you handle whatever support we're gonna give in motion
Right,
2.
Right,
Okay.
Plan 5 was 9382C.
yes.
Yes.
$1,000 deductible one.
Right.
That's the PPO.
Oh, you're gonna keep the $1,500 deductible one then?
Well, we're not, yes. Well, right now, I'd say what kind of by your motion was, is that we'd
Just
be
said.
keeping the 500 PPO,
Okay.
the 1,500 PPO, I'm sorry, yes.
Yes.
The 2,500 HSA and the 2,600 embedded HSA. We'd
So,
be keeping those 4 plans.
so the one you wanna get rid of is the 83D3C.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Right. I guess we could do that, if that's the wishes of the board, I wonder if we couldn't just do that just by, or how should we just adopt, or that we are accepting Blue Cross Blue Shield's bids for what we call technically the original Plan 1, Plan 2, Plan 3, and Plan 4, which leaves out what you wanted to do anyway.
Can you amend your motion to just say
Can you
what
withdraw
you
your
said?
motion?
I withdraw my motion.
Or we can let it die for lack of a second if you want us to do that too.
Just get us over with.
Is that, I mean, is that making sense to
Alan,
everybody else if that's what we're doing?
Alan
here?
made the motion then.
Yes,
Okay.
I'll make that motion,
To-
that we adopt the, however it's worded on your thing, Blue Cross Blue Shield, is that what you wrote down? in your agenda?
Renewal.
You had all the answers a second ago when you were killing my motion. Now you need to-
I'd make a motion that we adopt the health plan options submitted by Blue Cross Blue Shield that included the, basically, I'm just gonna put them down as the last part, 73, Kirk, how should be listed? If I go 73, 423,
Yep.
that's a 500 PPO, and this will be per attached. We'd also be accepting 9382C, that's the 1,500 PPO.
Correct.
I have it as 9352.
Now it's 82.
82?
82,
Okay.
that's what it is.
Okay,
Misspent.
all right,
Yeah,
okay,
that's what it is.
all right.
Okay, and that was the 1,500. The item 3 would be the 3805, the 2,500 HSA plan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're checking these, I'm here, I'm
Yep,
listening, you're
yep,
on,
yep,
right, so,
yep.
okay. The 1V as in victory, 07, 2,600 embedded HA plan.
Correct.
And those, all those numbers matched up with
Yes,
your,
yep.
that would be my motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Further discussion?
So the plan would be that the
We'd be
Cadillac is
keeping-
still on there.
That's correct.
And we have provisions that basically you think we're gonna get rid of a lot of them anyway, because.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay. Now, the next part, we need a motion to handle how we are going to support our employees this year as far as these plans.
So the plan is basically, I mean, that amount of money, that 11,383 or roughly, is made that small, basically. That's an increase, but it's made that small. Once again, by a lot of people, even almost contractually or attachment to the contract, saying they're gonna get off of that plan and go to an HSA plan.
I would suggest that we say that the HSA plans 1V07 and 3805, we would be offering employer contributions of $100 a month for those who remain, or who choose that plan, and that the county share as far as the premium would remain at $456. That the PPO plan 9352, or is it 82? 82. The contribution that the employer make be increased to 506, and that all other provisions of those plans, including 73,423, remain the same.
And do we need to make something specific, or maybe, like, instead of just giving, however we would word that on that HSA, that we're putting that into a, what? No, that we are putting into an individual employee
HSA.
HSA.
Right.
That we're not paying,
No, those
Giving
are
them
going
$100.
into
it's gonna go directly into
qualified
a
HSA
employee
accounts.
plan.
Yes.
PPO's 506.
506, only on option 3.
Oh, on
Because it's
On
they just-
9382.
one.
On 9382.
Okay,
We don't want people in that plan. I
okay.
mean,
Just let me
Carl,
know.
I mean, that's,
Okay.
well, I mean,
Because if you go to the 1500 plan, and you're getting $100, or if you're getting, now you're getting $50 more a month, aren't you? And it was $40 increase, and you're still $10 less premium than what you had the year before. Even if, is that making sense?
Yeah.
we want to encourage people to take option 2, 3, and 4.
There's a $400 delta between deductibles.
Yes.
And if we,
You see, this is what they paid last year,
And also
$750.
the opt-out.
do we want to do opt-out now, or do you want to, I mean, you're fine, it's not technically on the agenda, the opt-out, is it? I mean, I guess we could. We can, yeah, that's fine.
All part of it.
And then the motion would also include to increase the opt-out pay from $750 to $1250, okay? That way it's all done, okay? Somebody want to own that motion?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Does everybody understand?
Are we all, I mean,
I'll
Terry,
read
do
what
you-
I wrote down.
Now,
I
did
wrote
you-
down the
did you include
HS,
the increase in that,
Listen.
okay.
HSA employee contribution, that'll be on option 2 and 4, $100 per month. County share will remain at $456.
but we're adding to that to $100 contributed to employees qualified HSA, right?
HSA employer
All right.
contribution,
All right.
$100 per month.
All right,
But the county share, the premium's still at $456.
okay,
PPO, option 3, employer contribution will go to $506. PPO option 1 will remain at $456 as the county's share. The opt-out will go to $1,250.
did that answer your question? Any further discussion? Carl? Terry, you have any questions? I know you're not okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? It does carry. We've got a lot of work to do this year, but we appreciate you being here. And we're showing our concern, and we'll try to get things worked out, okay?
Okay.
Is that- Okay, thanks. We have a third item on the agenda, and that is to approve a request by is it the fire department?
Chrisman Fire Department.
Yes, Richmond Fire Department Association for $1,000 from the County Hotel Motel Fund for advertising for the 2016 Christmas Day celebration. So there are several different groups that they have, and they're gonna split that up, and they're gonna use that.
Is it more than just, so community club did it this year, right? The Christmas Community Club?
That was different than that.
Okay.
That's different event.
So thus far, for Christmas days, there's just the one request for that set amount?
That's correct.
Was it the same as done last year through different organizations?
This is-
Did it all?
This has never been done
Brand new,
before.
okay.
How much we have in fund?
3,300?
Does
I
it
don't-
change much year to year?
No, we've already recouped what we gave. Remember, we
Okay,
gave
yeah.
600 out, and we've already recouped that, so.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, further discussion? All those signify by saying aye, that are for this motion.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Thank you. Terry, could you do a,
Fine.
yes, please, thank you. Okay, we do not have anything else on the agenda. However, we do need a motion for a closed session with the state's attorney to, for legal, what do I want to say? Pending litigation.
So we
Second.
All
have
those,
to
in-
read that, or,
We have to do that. As the chairman stated.
okay.
all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Okay, we are going to executive session after about a 2-minute potty break.
How about
D.
You're gonna be live.
You mentioned that, it reminded me when you
Okay,
started.
we're back in session now. Did you have a question, Mark?
No, we
Okay.
got you to finish up.
All those in favor, or do I have a motion to adjourn?
So I'm gonna make second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor to adjourn?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
It's,
Terry, I'll be down to see you.
never-